Hey guys, for today's video, I'll be guiding you over how to build Varka, whose DPS does not match his title of Grandmaster of the Knights of Favonius. Starting off with his kit, in short, he's an on-field DPS who deals anemo damage and elemental infused damage. He can tap his skill to leap and enter an enhanced state, where his charge attack becomes enhanced and his skill gets enhanced as well. But he can also hold and charge his skill for a greater leap, which will be really good for exploration. He wants to be paired up with Mondstadt characters for a lesser skill cooldown, one Hexarray character so that his normal attacks can lower the CD of his enhanced skill, another Anemo character, or two Pyro, Hydro, Electro, or Cryo characters of the same element so that his enhanced skill and charge attack get higher multipliers, or both so that his enhanced skill and charge attack get even higher multipliers. Also, you'll want to keep doing the swirl reaction so that all of his attacks during his enhanced states do 30% more damage. Here's how to save big when topping up for Genshin Impact's 6.3 banners. Lubar.gg has a limited discount where the 6,480 Genesis Crystal Bundle is only $70 for a week starting December 23rd. They also have a bunch of other discounts on different bundles like the all-in-one bundle and the guaranteed bundles. They also have a 10% off for new users coupon and a 5 and a 3% off for returning users coupon. To save on your top-ups, go to lubar.gg. Choose a bundle, put your account information, then click Top Up Now. Then select your payment method, add or use a coupon code, then click Pay Now. In a couple of minutes, your discounted bundle should arrive. Now, Lubar.gg is trusted by creators like Genshin Impact and Gopa Certified, and that has a 4.9 rating on Trustpilot alongside a bunch of 5-star reviews. So if you want to save when topping up, go to Lubar.gg by clicking the link in the pinned comment or description. So for his playstyle, it'll be really simple. He'll want to use his skill so that he can enter his enhanced states. Then he'll want to do his entire normal attack chain, then dodge cancel onto another normal attack chain. For this next normal attack chain, he'll want to end it with the 4th normal attack. Then he's gonna want to instantly use his enhanced charge attack. After that, he'll simply want to do this once more, and that'll mark the end of his rotation. Now, if you want to do around 6% more damage, you can try another more complicated rotation. You can use your skill, then use 3 normal attacks and dodge cancel. Use 2 normal attacks and dodge cancel again. Then use 3 normal attacks and dodge cancel again. Then you're gonna want to do 1 normal attack, then his charge attack twice. Then you're gonna want to do 2 normal attacks, then dodge cancel into 2 more normal attacks to end your rotation. For his skill priorities, prioritize leveling up his skill, then ultimate. You'll want to do this because the majority of his damage comes from his special skill, his special charge attack, and the special normal attacks he does in between those other 2 attacks, whose multipliers are all in his skill talents. And his ultimate isn't that impressive, but it will do a nice chunk of damage every time it's available. Also, don't even bother with leveling up his normal attack talents because their multipliers don't affect his damage in the slightest. For his stats, he's gonna want a 2500 attack so that he can get a 25% anemo damage bonus and a 25% elemental damage bonus of the element his attacks are infused with. He'll also want your typical 1-2 crit rate to crit damage ratio. That is to say, he's gonna want 2% crit damage for every 1% crit rate you have. And for his energy recharge, you can typically avoid this stat because you're gonna want to use his ultimate when you can rather than every rotation because his ultimate doesn't do a lot of his damage. For his artifacts, he's gonna want the Rising Wind set because it increases his attack by 18% with its 2-piece bonus, and it also increases his attack by an additional 25% with its 4-piece bonus, which will make it really easy to reach his 2500 attack requirement. And if the wearer is a Hexarray character, which Varka is, they'll get a 20% crit rate boost, which will make it really easy for him to reach a 1-2 crit rate to crit damage ratio, considering he gets around 40% crit damage from being leveled up. For an alternative, the Shimenawa set would be good because it also provides 18% attack for its 2-piece bonus, and it provides a 50% normal attack and charge attack damage bonus at the cost of 15 energy, which synergizes really well with him because a big chunk of his damage comes from normal and charge attacks, and he doesn't care too much about losing energy because his ultimate doesn't do a lot of damage. For another alternative, the Desert Pavilion set would also be good because it provides a 15% anemo damage bonus and a 40% normal and charge attack damage bonus alongside a 10% normal attack speed boost, which will synergize really well with his playstyle. For another alternative, the Gladiator's Finale would also be good because it also provides an 18% attack boost with its 2-piece bonus and a 35% normal attack damage boost with its 4-piece bonus. For another alternative, the Echoes of an Offering would also be good because it also provides an 18% 19% attack boost with its 2-piece bonus, and that has a 36% chance of increasing the normal attack damage of the wearer's next normal attack by 70%. And if this effect doesn't trigger the first time, its chance to trigger is increased by 20% until the wearer activates the effect. For another alternative, you can simply use a mixture of stats that provide attack percentage with their 2-piece bonus. For his main stats, he's gonna want attack percentage on his hands and crit for his circlet. Now for his main stat on his goblet, it depends on how you want to use him. If you only want to use him in his pyro team, then give him a pyro damage bonus goblet. But if you want to use him in pyro, hydro, cryo, and electro teams, well then an attack percentage goblet will let his performance be a lot more consistent. For his substats, prioritize crit, then attack percentage. For his weapons, his signature will be his absolute best, with myriad's signature being his best alternative. You can also use the Beacon of the Reed Sea, Navia's signature, the Serpent Spine, Ethos' signature, or the Wolf's Gravestone if you want top tier alternatives. But you can also use the Unforged, Kenichi's signature, the Tidal Shadow, the Black Cliff Slasher, the Ultimate Overload, and the Earth Shaker if you want viable alternatives. For his teams, like I said, he's gonna want to be paired up with one Hexray character, one Anemo character, and then 2 characters of the same element that are either Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, or Electro. Thus, he'll be able to be run in Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, and Electro Swirl teams, alongside his Lunar Charge wheelchair team. For his other Anemo character, Venti would typically be his best because of his really good grouping and sub DPS. He also counts as both a Mondstadt and a Hexray character, so he'll be able to unlock a lot of Varka's buffs. You can also use Aoife since he can use the Cinder City set that provides a 40% elemental damage boost when he causes the swirl reaction for the elements involved in the reaction. You can also use Farusan since she provides massive Anemo Reshred, grouping, and crit damage. You can also use Sucrose since she too is from Mondstadt and is a Hexray character. Not to mention, she's his best pick for his wheelchair Lunar Charge team because she can provide EM. But you can also use Jean since she's also a Mondstadt character and she can heal, which would be good for when Varka is being run with Furina in his Hydro teams. For his Pyro teammates, he's gonna want both Bennett and Durin because they're both Mondstadt characters, and Durin can act as a Hexray character for the team and consistently apply Pyro for Varka to swirl. Not to mention, they're both some of the best supports in the game. For alternatives, well, there aren't that many, nor are they anywhere near as good, but technically you can use Changling, Deya, or Mavuika since they can consistently apply Pyro and do decent to good sub DPS. For his Hydro teammates, he's gonna want both Mona and Furina because both of them can consistently apply Hydro for Varka to swirl. Mona is both a Mondstadt and Hexray character. Furina can do really good sub DPS and she can provide some damage bonuses if she's paired up with a healer like Jean or Xianyun. For alternatives, again, similarly to his Pyro teammates, he won't have many good alternatives, but you can use Yelan or Chinchou since they do good Hydro sub DPS. Yelan can provide damage bonuses and Chinchou can provide some healing and interruption resistance, which will be really good on Varka because his enhanced state doesn't give him any interruption resistance like other recent characters, which he really wants because he'll mostly be doing normal and charge attacks. For his Cryo teammates, he's gonna want both Escoffier and Shenhe because even though neither of them is a Mondstadt or Hexray character, Escoffier can do powerful sub DPS and Shenhe can provide really good normal, charge attack, skill, and ultimate damage buffs. You can also use Rosaria since she can consistently apply Cryo and she's a Mondstadt character. For his Electro teammates, he's gonna want both Fischl and Ayansan because they can both provide really good attack buffs. Fischl can do powerful sub DPS and consistently apply Electro, and Ayansan can heal and provide good damage stop buffs with their Constellations. For alternatives, you can use any other off-field Electro sub DPS like Yamiko or Auroron, and you can pair them up with Gujosara since she can act as a good replacement for Ayansan. Now, for his best team, you're gonna want to pretty much ignore everything I've said up to this point and simply slot him with Colombina, Inefa, and Sucrose, aka the best Lunar Charge support, so that they can wheelchair him to victory. For his Constellations, his C1 lets him do one extra enhanced skill / charge attack that does 200% of its original damage, which will increase his DPS by a little bit more than other C1s. For his C2, he does an additional instance of powerful Anemo damage every time he uses his enhanced skill / charge attack, which will drastically increase his DPS. For his C4, when Varka swirls an element, he gives everyone a 20% Anemo damage bonus and a 20% damage bonus of the element he swirled for 10 seconds, which isn't anything too special, but it is pretty good. For his C6, it'll let you do a difference, more powerful rotation, and it'll increase his crit damage by 60 60%. For his new rotation, he'll want to use his skill to enter his enhanced states. Use his enhanced skill, then instantly use his enhanced charge attack. After that, you're going to do 4 normal attacks, then use your enhanced skill and charge attack again. Then do 4 normal attacks again, then use your enhanced skill and charge attack again. For my investment recommendations, I recommend going for his R1, then his C1, then his C2. This is because his R1 increases his DPS by around 39%, while his C1 only increases his DPS by around 17%, and his C2 only increases his DPS by around 22%. Now, should you pull for Varka? Well, in all honesty, I cannot confidently advise someone to pull for Varka because his DPS is really low compared to the current meta character's DPS, which is around 50,000 higher to be exact. Not only that, but his team requirements are really strict. Thus, I wouldn't recommend summoning on Varka from a meta perspective unless you don't care about the meta, or if you can meet his current team requirements and believe that Nicole will buff Varka, or some other copious take. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Goodbye.